Hello, Karen Bierce here with a wee alcohol ink video. Just a simple overview just to kind of get you started with an idea, a unique idea, or I think it's unique. I don't know, maybe it's out there, but I haven't seen it. Just sort of came to me while working on a project. Alcohol ink, if you want the whole scoop, definitely go to Tim Holtz's channel. He has recently done a big alcohol ink video with techniques and everything for the release of his new colors, which is very cool. So again, this is just sort of a basic, let's make some simple washi tape, packing tape, and then with a twist at the end for another idea. So this technique was completely inspired by Tim's, I don't know, what does he call these? Cello sticker tape. And I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people on YouTube right now doing this with this idea that Tim came out with this tape that has just, this is a good way to look at it on the white background, just cellophane tape with that vintage yellowed look to it. And immediately anyone who had done alcohol ink went, oh, I could do that in every color imaginable. Wouldn't that be cool? And as I said, so that was definitely the inspiration for this. There's going to be glare for sure on this one. I can't do much about it just because we are working on a plastic. So therein lies the challenge. So here are some tapes I've just been playing with some different colors. So it's basically, you can take packing tape. These are different cellophane tapes. This is the frosted matte tape that you get, you know, that kind of looks like that, which does create a different look because it's more, again, it's more of a matte look than this is the standard glossy. I also used, which was kind of cool, I found this, which is a super hold tape. And I like the idea of using that, especially if you're going to do it in a book, because that way, you know, it'll adhere, it'll be much stronger. And I'll go through and talk about that and how we can use these and show you some samples. So let's start off with the product, alcohol ink. And again, go to Tim's, he'll give you the total rundown. I'm just going to give you a quick one. For those of you who've been around for a hot minute, these are the older alcohol ink. They've been around forever. I shudder to think how long I've been playing with alcohol ink, probably 20 years or basically as soon as they came out with them. And that was the old packaging, Adirondack alcohol ink. Again, it's got the little Tim Holtz there. This is the newer packaging with the warning labels. So yes, this is flammable. There's a vapor. Don't drink it. Don't set it on fire. Don't put it on a radiator. Nothing. Any of that stuff. It's just not. It's a chemical, so you do have to be careful when using chemicals. You apply it using the daubers with a felt tab instead of the traditional foamy tabs. There's felt ones. And again, for those of you who have been around a hot minute, you will remember this, which was the old packaging that they came in back in the day. And we had these, the square ones, square daubers with a square foamy. And now, of course, we've switched to round. So you can also use alcohol inks on metal. I started to do this 1,000 years ago and just never got to it. The newer packing is the alcohol ink storage tin, which is much sleeker and smaller, doesn't take us up as much space, and it's also good for putting your reinkers in it. So here I have my archival reinkers, but they're the same size bottles, so you can put your reinkers, overflow or whatever, and then also your alcohol inks. A new addition to the alcohol ink family is the alcohol pearls, and they have a bit of a shimmer to them. And again, it's hard to see. I did pearls here, but basically they just have sort of a pearlescent finish to it. But we will play with them. You can maybe see it here just a little bit. That's the, see, you can see, just catch a little bit of the shimmer. So it's just kind of fun. So what I've done is I've taken the various tapes and I've put them on a backing sheet. This is just the sort of the base pages or the backing sheet of an Easy Cut adhesive. And there's many different companies that have them. I happen to use iCraft Easy Cut adhesive for this. And I'm kicking myself because I used to save all these. And one day I just was like, I'm never going to use these. And of course I tossed them. And now, of course, I need to use them. So as crafters, we know the reason why you never, ever throw anything away is because it will come back at some point. But caveat, you really do have to remember where you put it. I've tried putting the tape on deli paper, and it does pull up the deli paper. The other thing you can use, I've used a page protector, because those are inexpensive and easy to use. The only thing is, again, it's hard once you put the tape down. It's invisible, right? Like, I'll show you. But that's kind of a challenge because the tape's invisible and then you put it down on your sheet and it's very difficult to see it because it's invisible. So you can kind of see the outline on this, not as bad, but on plastic, it's really hard to see. So what I did was I'd mark it with a Sharpie so I knew where my tape was versus the plastic. Of course, you could use the plastic that's been colored as well for fun things, I'm sure. But a hot tip, especially if you're using the strong tape, you're going to want to put a little tab underneath of paper so you can pull it, because otherwise the tape, especially if it's on there for more than a few hours, it will adhere the edges to the plastic and it becomes very difficult to pull up. So if you just put that little tab, then it is much easier and you just have an easier time of releasing them. I recommend that once you do this, you do release it, especially if you use the strong tape, because that stuff is actually really strong. So if you use a super hold tape, I would just peel it off and then put it back down just to get rid of a little bit of the stick. And then, of course, it'll just act like a strong washi tape, which is so fun. So that's sort of the overview. The supplies you're going to want to play. You can get the alcohol blending solution. I'm not going to use that today so much because, again, this is just a super simple technique video. So I'm just going to get a couple of colors of alcohol ink, the dauber, and a couple of foamies, and then a release tape or a release sheet and some tapes. And we'll get started. So what I've actually gone and done is taken this was just a little bag that clothing or whatever came in, and it kind of has a bit of a frosted look. It's not clear, so I thought I'll use that. It might show up a bit easier on camera to do this. And I put my little tab down, and all I'm going to do is come across, adhere the tab, and then sort of pull the tape. But you see already, it's so funny how hard it is to get that up. So I'll just leave it. It's a bit, I have a bit of a crinkle there, but who knows, maybe that would be cool. And I'm just going to take another one. And put that down. And now we have our 4 pieces of tape. I wanted to show you, this is the deli paper. I tried again because I was like, why doesn't deli paper work? So it's got kind of a not as coated and a coated, and I put it on the more coated side, but this is what happens. It rips it. But then I thought, hey, maybe this could be cool too. Didn't put my tab down, because that'll just give us a little bit of texture underneath. So we're going to try that one as well. Maybe we'll try a couple and see what that looks like. Now, the only downside to this technique is, you lose the sticky of the tape because it's going to have a backing. But again, it gives the tape in of itself a bit of a frosted texture. So let's start with this. So in this example, what I did was I took a couple colors of ink and I did it separately. And part of that was because I had a specific plan for how I was going to use it. I used that in I'm just going to pull it out. I made this pocket, seed packet. This is an Elizabeth Craft design packet. And I alcohol inked the acetate for the pocket, which is kind of a cool idea. And you can see here the difference. This is using some of the pearl on top, which gives it kind of that bit of a shimmer going on. So that was one of the ways you can use this, is on a piece of acetate and then use it in your window. And then I also used it as a tape right here, just as a washi tape. And what's fun about it is I was able to, pick the colors that would go with my paper. So that was kind of a fun way of doing things. All right, let's just get to it. Got my frosted window with my pieces of paper. Now I'm going to reuse this. Once the alcohol has dried, I was just doing some. It's not, and maybe it reactivates, but I'm not bothered by that because this is kind of mixed media demo type of deal. I've got caramel. So for this example, when Tim does it, he takes 3 dots usually, or multiple colors. I haven't watched the latest video. It's on my list of things to do. But I thought with this, because I want to make it more of a custom color, I'm going to separate the colors and I'm just going to do one at a time. So I'm going to take my caramel. Of course, the first thing I do is get on my finger. So here's my caramel and I'm just going to come along. There we go. And I'm going to, and again, it's hard to see the tape. I'll make some lines for you for the next one. But I'm just dabbing in one spot, in a couple of spots, but I'm keeping the color sort of to itself. And if it's not dark enough, you can go over it a second time. And I'm just pressing that ink into there. And I get that sort of a look, which is almost exactly like what those Scotch tapes looked. The vintage tape that Tim did. So that's step 1. All right, I've just taken a Sharpie and I've marked some lines. I'm not putting the lines on the tape because I don't want to, it's a Sharpie, it'll stay on the tape. So I just put it sort of outside. The thing about the minerals, you do have to shake it. There's a ball in there. So we shake, shake, shake to get this color. Now this is going to be sort of the same color. This one is called Mineral. And this is where it was before, but I'll go sort of beside it. You don't have to put the caps on right away. I just like to if I can, because otherwise they can leak if you drop. Okay, there you go. Look how pretty. So again, this is sort of the same color. So I'm just going to come on here and put some of that color on top of the caramel, sort of, kind of, just to get a little more variation going. Now I'm going to come in with a completely different color, and I'm going to use turquoise. I don't know which of these colors are still available, so if you love the color and you can't get it, just go with another one. I know it's hard as crafters, we want the exact same, but free yourself from that burden and pick another color you like. You could also do a combo deal. Maybe come a bit closer. So again, I'm keeping my eye on what part of the sponge, and I'm just dabbing. I'm just pressing that ink into there. I did overlap here a bit with it, and that's okay. So you see what happened where I overlapped. I now kind of have both the colors, but the majority is that teal. If I want to, I can go back on top with some more of that caramel. It's still a little wet. And then it becomes more of a caramel, but the colors do blend together. If I want that turquoise to be darker, I just come on top of that again. And I have overlapped, so there is a nice blending going on. So how fun is that? Just so simple and so great. And now I've got my color. So what's great about these tapes, if I put it on top of, they're translucent. So if I were to put it on top of book paper or scrapbook paper, let me find a piece here. You know, it's gonna show up through the paper. So you can see that it shows up through the paper. I don't want to stick it down. So yeah, so that's one color combination. The other thing I was doing, playing with the idea of, I wanted a navy and I don't have a navy. And so I literally Googled what makes navy. And the answer was blue and black makes navy. So I took sailboat blue, and again, it's just sort of a sailboaty blue. I'm not sure if they're available, but any kind of sort of bright blue. And I took a bit of black. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a fresh dauber. I'm going to do the same sort of idea, but I'm going to purposefully blend the colors to get that second color. So here's the blue. So I'm just going to kind of go through quite a bit of it. And I think I will add another color in here just for fun. And I'm just dabbing. And then if you get to the point where I didn't put a whole lot of ink on there and you can see, just press a little harder first of all. And then if that doesn't work, you're like, okay, then you just give it another little squeeze. And all I'm doing is squeezing a little bit of ink on there, like a 1-2 squeeze. And now look what I've done. I realize I've gone between the, it's not even on the Scotch tape. Well done. All right, let's stay between the lines this time. But, you know, at the very end, I'll just end up with a cool looking plastic bag, I guess. So there we go. Now I do have some of that brown or the pearl color from the last experiment, but that's okay. So I'm going to do it this way for starters, just so I have a little more control. I'm just going to put a little bit of black, like a two squeeze. And then I'm going to come in on the edge and see how dark that is. That's super, super dark. That's not really what I want. So I'm going to come in with the blue, and I'm going to put the blue right next to the black and see if we can't get more of what I want going. There we go. That's a little bit more navy. There's still quite a lot of black there, but you get what I'm going with. So again, this is all experimenting. This is all learning how to do it. I'm going to just twist my dauber around to pick up more of the blue and put more of the blue on top of the black. You could also do separate daubers to make it easier, so you're not, you know, if you don't want to be, you know, just to make more precise. I don't like it. I can always wipe it off just like that and then go back in again with more of that blue. And I'm just playing, how do I get that color that I want? Take some more blue is over here. And then maybe I will come in with some blending ink to show you how that works. But I think I've done a pretty good job. I have a variation going now of the black ink and the blue, which I kind of like. Now, this is kind of all modeled, as you can see. If I wanted that to be more blended, that's where the blending solution comes in. Just to put a dab of blending solution, and I come in with the blending solution. And what that's going to do is kind of pick up some of that color and do exactly what it says. It's going to blend it in more. and I'll get less of that mottled look. I don't know, kind of looks the same to me. Boy, it's been a long time since I've played with these. There we go, that's a bit better. Now, obviously, you can also use this. This is how it's reacting on a plastic. But if I wanted to, I could also come in and go on Yupo paper. That's the really good surface that Alcohol Ink likes, is a Yupo paper. You can. So they say you can't use photography paper. You can, it just gives it a very different effect. The Yupo paper is definitely much better, a better paper to use. So there, now I've got 2 of my navies, which is kind of cool. The second one, it's definitely more blended. But you get the idea, and all that does is give me a fun blended look as opposed to this. I personally prefer that, but if you were going for a certain thing, now let's say I wanted, let's do this for fun. What if I wanted more blue? Ooh, look at how blue that is. That's fun too, isn't it? If I wanted to brighten some of that up, I could do that. Just do a drop. Not even a drop, like a little, oop, that was too much. And that's gonna brighten that up a bit. And then again, look at how much I can just swipe that off if I don't like it. So you can see what you could do. There's so much you could do with this. Like if I wanted that little window to be there, I could just randomly come through and pull some of that back. Because there's blending ink on here, it's gonna pull some of that up. And now when I put it on my, just put this in the middle to give you, because it is frosted, remember the paper. But then that would give a little window of where the words would really show through. So that's kind of fun too. Just fun. So then what happens if I were to come in and do, now let's come in with some of a brighter color and see what happens. And right now, I'm totally in experiment mode. So you're just kind of along for the ride at this point. How about I go with like a, oh, the other thing I wanted to point out, these colors, these inks that I've literally had them for 20 years and they're still good. They're still perfectly fine. You can still use them. So that's kind of cool, the sort of never expire date. Now we know that orange and blue make mud, but mud is brown. So let's see what happens when we come in to some of those spaces that I kind of cleared off and add a little orange. It's kind of brown, but it kind of has that orange look too. The orange kind of stays consistent, which is fun. Kind of like that. It adds just a little bit of, and then if you just do like that, you just get some dabbles. So I'm just dabbing it in, and now I've got a much more dynamic piece going. All right, let's do one more. Okay, I've got a green. This one's called Meadow. Again, I don't know what color, if these are available. I guess maybe what I'll do is I'll go have a gander and see what colors are available. Ooh, that's fun. There are sites that you can still get a lot of these colors, even though they are the older colors. So Meadow is like a foresty green. So if I do the Meadow, and then the caramel, it's see what happens to that. Quite like that. And there's a bit of orange coming through too, which is fun. It's like a dealer's choice of colors. There we go. Interesting. So the best way to do this is to just pull some out and play with them, for sure. All right. So now that I've made some of my cool Scotch tape, I'm going to show you the other idea I had. So this is Elizabeth Craft planner, Elizabeth Craft Designs planner. It's the brand new release that just came out from Esther. And this is using the 49th and Market paper. I die cut, and I'm going to show you, but I die cut a piece out of this. And what I did was I just took paper and I covered it with packing tape, and then I die cut it. And what was really cool about it was I matched the paper up here, sort of. And then this is all alcohol inked. And there is that same color combination that I just showed you, that because it's on white, it came out sort of as a navy. And I could customize it to be like this color and then kind of like the distress ink. Because again, some of these have distress ink. They're very similar to some of the colors in the distress ink line. So you can really do that. And then on the outside is that caramel again. So that's just, actually no, this one was ginger. It's called ginger. So it's more of a brown. So that's just a fun idea. So let's do that. So what I have here is a piece of paper from the Reminisce line. This is also Elizabeth Craft Designs. This is book 6. And these books are, I'm going to back up a bit. These books are just amazing. They're just liquid gold. They come with half of, like, it's the same pattern twice, double-sided, and they come first with paper in the first half, and then the second half is a heavy cardstock. So very, very versatile. And what I've done is I've taken, this is the shape I just used that I just showed you. So I've just put a piece of packing tape, and it's just your plain roll of packing tape. I've placed that down. I took my die cut and I ran it through twice, through my machine twice. I use a Sizzix Big Shot, and I'll show you the one that comes from, how I organize my dies. This is the new release here. It is called, oh my goodness, what's it called? The Dolce Vita line. And it's so cool. Comes with so many things, so many images. Some of these are missing because, again, I'm in design mode. So I've pulled some of them. Got arrows and sunflower type flowers and pockets that make these cool little pockets here. And this is the set that came from along here. And it comes with pockets and words and that kind of thing. Again, sorry for the glare. It's just, there's just glare. Because you need light. So here's my piece, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it out. And what I end up with is this cool piece. Look how cool that is. And it's just got that nice glossy finish from the packing tape. And I can probably cut another one out as well. So what I'm going to do is we're going to work on this. Now, what what I will do to kind of protect my surface, you can put paper down, you can put a plastic bag. I like to just take packaging because then you never know what you get, and you could use the plastic for something, but again, there's glare, so let me not do that. But that's what I would do normally. For the glare, what I'll do is I'll just take a piece of paper. How's that? And then that way we won't deal with the glare. All right. So what color shall we do? This has a sort of a words in a navy. And what I'd like to do, I don't have a page in mind for this. I just wanted to use this for the demo. That would be cool too. Look at the other side of that paper. That would be cool too, wouldn't it? So I still have another strip of packing tape, so I could do another strip. But again, I just want this to be a little bit of a quick video. So what I would do is maybe I'm just going to come along with a couple of colors. And I want some of these words to come through though this time. So I might use some lighter colors. I think I'll stick with that caramel because I really like it. And then I'm going to pull out a color called juniper. And I believe juniper is available. And it's a lighter, just a light sort of minty green color. Now, you see, but I'm not sure if these will reactivate, but we'll find out. Again, not being too picky. Maybe a little. Yeah, because look, I've got a little bit of brown going on there, but that's kind of fun. I like that. So I'm just going to come in here with that color. You can see, just creates a little bit of almost a tint of color. And it's definitely activating the other color because I'm getting some of that foresty green in there, but that's kind of cool. So now I'm going to come in, let's put the caramel near that Valencia and see what happens. Yeah, the Valencia's in there too. So it's kind of giving me a bit of an orangey brown. But what's great is my pattern is really still showing through because I'm sticking with those lighter colors. And then I'm just going to go in and I blend where the two, by blending you're just dabbing. I'm just dabbing more color so that I'm blending the two, where the two colors go. Now I'm going to go back to where my juniper green combination is. And then what I'd like to do is sort of a half and half deal. So let me put some of the green juniper, and then I'll switch over to the Valencia side. It is a little harder to control the color this way for sure. But there we go. So see, I kind of course corrected that as far as I went back in with more of the green. And then, yeah, I'm going to just stick with these two colors. Okay. Come in, I need some more. Couple of seconds squeeze. Oh, I've lost some of that Valencia. Come back in, put that back in a little bit. Get some more caramel. Just fun. Arting is fun. And again, I don't want to go too dark because I don't want to lose the image underneath. That juniper is very light, a very light color. But I like it. See, and it's kind of repelling kind of fighting back and forth. So there you go. now I have this very cool stripe that I can put on the edge of a book. And all I did when I did this dries pretty quickly too. It's alcohol ink. It almost dries immediately. And then I could even put that would go as well. And then just repunch the holes. But that's it. How fun of a technique is that to do? So get your die cuts out, get some paper and some packing tape and some alcohol inks, and away you go. And here's what it looks on paper, completely different. So you see how it really just doesn't, you know, you kind of get that look on regular paper. So yeah, that's it. That's it for this quick review. The best thing you can do with these products is to just get them out and play with them. Play with them yourself and see which ways you like to use them. So that's it. Alcohol ink lesson number 1.